Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the heart of a dense forest, there lived a little girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She was a sweet and gentle child, with a heart full of love for all living things. She lived with her mother and father in a cozy little cottage on the edge of the village. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother asked her to take a basket of freshly baked cookies to her sick grandmother who lived on the other side of the forest. Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother was a kind and loving woman who always had a warm smile and a gentle word for her granddaughter. Little Red Riding Hood set off on her journey, walking through the forest path that wound its way through the tall trees. She wore a bright red cloak with a hood, which her mother had made for her, and she carried a basket of cookies in her hand. As she walked, she sang a happy song to herself, enjoying the beautiful scenery and the fresh air. But as she walked deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and the path grew narrower. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Little Red Riding Hood began to feel a little scared, but she knew that she had to be brave and continue on her way. Suddenly, she heard a rustling in the bushes. She turned to see a big, bad wolf emerging from the undergrowth. The wolf had sharp teeth and glowing eyes, and Little Red Riding Hood knew that she was in danger. The wolf approached her, his tail wagging in a friendly way. "Hello, Little Red Riding Hood," he said, in a smooth, silky voice. "What are you doing all alone in the forest?" Little Red Riding Hood was not afraid, but she was cautious. She knew that she should not talk to strangers, especially not to big, bad wolves. "I'm on my way to see my sick grandmother," she said, trying to sound brave. The wolf's ears perked up at the mention of grandmother. "Ah, yes," he said, his voice dripping with malice. "I know all about your grandmother. She's a dear old lady, isn't she?" Little Red Riding Hood nodded, beginning to feel a little uneasy. "Yes, she is," she said. The wolf smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "Well, I think I'll just go and visit her myself," he said. "I'm sure she would love to see me." Little Red Riding Hood knew that she had to stop the wolf, but she didn't know how. She tried to think of something to say, but her mind was a blank. The wolf, meanwhile, was already making his way towards grandmother's house. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived at grandmother's house, she found the wolf dressed up as the old lady. The wolf had eaten grandmother and was now pretending to be her. Little Red Riding Hood was horrified, but she tried to stay calm. "Grandmother, what big eyes you have," she said, trying to sound brave. "Ah, yes," said the wolf, in a high-pitched voice. "I have big eyes because I am so old and wise." Little Red Riding Hood was not fooled. She knew that the wolf was trying to trick her. "Grandmother, what big teeth you have," she said, trying to sound calm. "Ah, yes," said the wolf, showing his sharp teeth. "I have big teeth because I am so hungry." Little Red Riding Hood knew that she had to get out of there as quickly as possible. She tried to run, but the wolf was too fast. He caught her and was about to eat her when a woodsman appeared out of nowhere and saved the day. The woodsman had been walking through the forest when he heard Little Red Riding Hood's cries for help. He had come running and had seen the wolf attacking her. With one swift blow of his axe, he killed the wolf and saved Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood was so grateful to the woodsman that she hugged him tightly. Thank you," she said, tears of joy streaming down her face. The woodsman smiled and patted her on the head. "You're welcome, Little Red Riding Hood," he said. "I'm just glad that I was able to save you." Together, Little Red Riding Hood and the woodsman went to grandmother's house and found her safe and sound. They had a big hug and thanked each other for being so brave. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood was known as the bravest girl in the village. She had faced her fears and had come out on top, and she never forgot the woodsman who had saved her life.